All right, today we're tackling something called digital minimalism. It's this really interesting philosophy for, not just surviving, but actually thriving in this crazy high-tech world we all live in. And it's all based on the fantastic work of author Cal Newport. Okay, just take a second and read this quote. Does that hit home for you? That feeling like you just can't focus on a movie anymore? Or that your attention span is, getting shorter by the day? If you're nodding your head right now, I want you to know you are so not alone. This is basically a cry for help we're hearing from people everywhere who feel like their relationship with their tech has just gotten, totally out of control. So what is going on here? Let's get right into it. And the first thing to get straight is this. This is not about you failing or not having enough willpower. Not at all. This is about a feeling that so many of us have that we've kind of lost control over our own attention. We're stuck in what you could call the doom scroll dilemma. Think about it for a second. Go back in time. When Facebook first launched, it was basically just a digital yearbook for college kids, right? And the very first iPhone, its big deal was making calls and playing your music. Nobody, and I mean nobody, signed up for a world where these things would basically run our lives. We sort of just backed into it without even realizing. And let's be super clear here. The problem isn't that these tools are useless. Of course they're not. The real issue, the heart of the problem, is our loss of autonomy. It's that nagging feeling that our phones and apps are the ones in charge now, telling us how to act, how to feel, and always pushing us to use them more than we know is good for us. And usually that comes at the expense of the things we actually care about. So how did this even happen? How did we lose control? Well, the answer is kind of shocking, actually. It turns out we've been fighting a battle we didn't even know we were in, a seriously lopsided arms race where our attention is the grand prize. And the other side, they're armed to the teeth with some of the most sophisticated psychological weapons you can imagine. Bill Maher really hit the nail on the head with this one. That old romantic idea of tech geniuses in garages just trying to build a better world, yeah, that's pretty much dead. The much harsher reality is that a lot of these companies aren't just making cool services. They are deliberately, intentionally engineering addiction. Why? For profit. Our attention is literally their business model. The more of our time and focus they can capture, the more money they make. Simple as that. And this right here, this is probably the best way to think about it. It's a metaphor from whistleblower Tristan Harris, and it is perfect. Your phone is a slot machine. Think about it. Every single time you pull it out of your pocket to check for notifications or you refresh your feed, you are pulling the lever on a slot machine. Are you going to get a reward, a like, a comment, some juicy bit of news, or nothing? You just don't know. So what is this psychological trick they're using? It has a name. It's called intermittent positive reinforcement. And look, it's the exact same principle that keeps pigeons pecking a button for a food pellet or a gambler pulling the lever on a slot machine over and over again. It's the not knowing when the reward will come that makes it so powerful, so compelling, and so addictive. And hey, if you're thinking, oh, this sounds like a conspiracy theory, just listen to this. This comes directly from Sean Parker, the founding president of Facebook. He came right out and admitted it. From the very beginning, he said, the goal was to figure out how to consume as much of your time and conscious attention as possible. How? By creating this social validation feedback loop. It was, in his own words, a deliberate exploitation of a vulnerability in human psychology. Wow. So here's how they do it. These platforms are brilliant because they hijack two of our most basic human drives. First, there's our deep need for social approval. Back in our caveman days, if the tribe liked you, you survived. If they didn't, you were in trouble. So today, when you get a like or a tag, it's hitting that same ancient primal part of your brain. And second, they deliver that approval unpredictably. That's the slot machine effect we were just talking about. Just think about the design of these apps. The infinite scroll, where there's never a natural place to stop, or that pull to refresh motion, that is literally the same arm motion as pulling the lever on a slot machine. None of this is an accident. It's all designed to keep you hooked. Okay, so if we're up against all of this lopsided arms race, these addiction by design forces, what do we do? How in the world do we fight back? Well, little tips and tricks, life hacks, they're not going to be enough. We need a whole new philosophy. And that is where digital minimalism comes into play. So here's the big idea, right from the source, Cal Newport. Digital minimalism is not about hating technology or becoming a Luddite. Not at all. It's about being incredibly intentional. It's about starting with what you truly value in your life and then asking, okay, what are the best tools to help me with that? You focus your time online on a very small number of things that give you huge benefits, and then, and this is the key part, you happily miss out on everything else. This really shows the huge difference in mindset. Most of us, by default, are maximalists. We operate out of FOMO, fear of missing out. Any tiny potential benefit is enough for us to say yes to a new app or service. But a minimalist, they have a totally different fear. They're not afraid of missing out on some small thing. They're afraid of the big things, the really important things in life getting diminished. Things like real human connection, the ability to focus deeply, or just enjoying your free time. Okay, so the first big principle of digital minimalism is super simple, but really profound. Clutter is costly. And we're not just talking about having too many apps on your home screen. This idea goes much deeper. In fact, it's something the philosopher Henry David Thoreau was talking about more than 150 years ago. Thoreau had this idea that the real cost of something isn't money. It's how much of your life you have to trade for it. Just let that sink in for a second. Every app, every notification, every feed we scroll, it's demanding a slice of our life, our time, our attention. A digital minimalist gets this. They understand that when you add it all up, the total cost of all that digital clutter is way, way higher than the small benefits each little thing might offer. Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, right? But how do you actually do it? How do you go from being this frazzled maximalist to a calm, intentional minimalist? Well, that's what we're going to cover right now. Let's get into the actual practical steps you can take to start reclaiming your attention. And this might be the single most important thing to understand. Little tweaks and clever hacks, they're not going to be enough to win this fight. To really, truly get back in the driver's seat, you have to be willing to just tear it all down and rebuild your relationship with technology from scratch. And this time, you build it on the foundation of your own values. So what does that rebuilding process actually look like? Well, here are a few simple, concrete things you can start doing today. Ideas gathered from people who've actually done this. First, try taking little 15-minute dopamine breaks. That just means sitting and doing nothing, being bored. It's so important because it helps reset your brain, which is so used to constant hits of stimulation. Another one, read a real physical book. This isn't just for fun, it literally retrains your brain for deep focus, building back those attention muscles that all the short-form content has let get weak. Or pick up a hands-on hobby, something like cooking, learning to code, crocheting, anything that uses your hands and your brain and doesn't involve a screen. It gives you a sense of satisfaction that a like just can't touch. Also, try taking long walks and leave all your electronics at home. Let your mind wander. It's amazing for creativity. And hey, if you're feeling really bold, try a full 24-hour phone break. It's a fantastic way to hit the reset button and prove to yourself that, yes, you are still the one in charge. So that leaves us with one last really powerful question. Let's bring it all back to Thoreau's idea. I want you to take a second and really ask yourself, what is my screen time costing me? And I don't mean in money. I mean, what precious moments of your one life are you trading for it? Answering that question honestly, well, that just might be the spark that starts you on your own path to digital minimalism.